Whispers in the dark. Julia, a freelance writer with a penchant for the macabre, had recently moved into a century-old cottage nestled on the outskirts of Maplewood, a small, sleepy town known for its lush forests and an eerie, unexplained history of disappearances dating back generations. Drawn to the town's mysterious past, Julia saw it as the perfect backdrop for her next novel, a story that would delve into the unexplained and the supernatural. The cottage, with its ivy-clad walls and an air of neglected beauty, seemed to whisper stories of its own. It was on her first night, under the watchful gaze of a waxing moon, that Julia first heard the whispers. Soft and indistinct, they seemed to float through the air, a chilling caress that left her skin prickled with goosebumps. Believing them to be a product of her imagination, fueled by the stories she spun by day, Julia dismissed them. But as the days turned into weeks, the whispers grew louder, more insistent, as if urging her to uncover the secrets they held. It was then that Julia discovered the hidden room. Tucked away behind a false wall in the basement, the room was a time capsule, untouched by the passage of years. Within it, she found a diary, its pages yellowed with age, belonging to a woman named Abigail, who had lived in the cottage over 100 years ago. As Julia delved into Abigail's diary, she was drawn into a tale of love, loss, and a darkness that seemed to seep through the very walls of the cottage. Abigail spoke of the woods that bordered the property, of a presence that dwelled within them, an ancient entity that demanded a tribute every generation. The whispers, Abigail wrote, were its voice, a siren call that led the chosen away from the safety of their homes and into the depths of the forest, never to be seen again. Chilled to the bone, but driven by a need to know more, Julia began to investigate the history of Maplewood and its disappearances. The pattern was undeniable. Every generation, a resident of the cottage vanished, their disappearance always preceded by the whispers. Determined to break the cycle, Julia set out to confront the entity, armed only with her will and the knowledge gleaned from Abigail's diary. On a night when the whispers reached a fevered pitch, she entered the forest, following the voices as they led her deeper into the darkness. What happened next remains a mystery. Julia's diary, found on the desk in her study, ends with her decision to face the entity. The cottage, now silent, stands as a sentinel, waiting for its next occupant. The whispers in the dark, a lingering echo of the past. The town of Maplewood continues its sleepy existence, the secret of the cottage and its whispers, a shadowy tale whispered among the townsfolk. Julia's disappearance has added another layer to the legend, a chilling reminder of the darkness that lies just beyond the reach of the firelight, in the heart of the forest, where whispers call the unwary to their fate. Months after Julia's disappearance, the cottage remained untouched, a symbol of unresolved mystery and whispered fears among the Maplewood locals. It wasn't until Derek, a young historian with a fascination for Maplewood's enigmatic past, decided to move in, drawn by the tales of Julia and those before her. Derek saw the cottage not just as a place to live, but as a key to understanding the peculiar history of the town and its dark traditions. Derek's approach was methodical, diving into local archives and records, piecing together the lineage of disappearances with the precision of a detective. The whispers, now a mere legend to the townsfolk, began anew on his first night, soft murmurs in the shadows that seemed to beckon him toward the same fate as Julia. However, Derek was prepared. He had studied Julia's diary, left behind in the cottage, as if waiting for him, and he understood that the entity in the woods preyed on those who ventured alone, driven by curiosity or desperation. With this knowledge, Derek reached out to the locals, forming a group intent on uncovering the truth and ending the cycle once and for all. One night, under the cover of darkness and armed with more courage than sense, they ventured into the forest, following the whispers that seemed to emanate from the very earth beneath their feet. The deeper they went, the louder the whispers grew, until they stood before an ancient, gnarled tree, its roots twisting into the ground like the fingers of a giant hand. It was here that Derek did something unexpected. He began to speak, not to the entity they had come to confront, but to the spirits of those who had vanished. He spoke of their lives, their stories, their connections to Maplewood, and their absence that had left holes in the fabric of the town. As he spoke, the air grew heavy, a palpable sense of listening, of attention being paid. And then, the surprise. From the shadows stepped Julia, her appearance not aged a day from when she had vanished. Behind her, spectral figures began to materialize, the missing residents of Maplewood, their forms flickering like candle flames in the dark. Julia explained that the entity was not a malevolent force, but a guardian of the forest, protecting a sacred site against the encroachments of the outside world. The whispers were not calls to doom, but invitations to understand, to become custodians of the forest's secrets. The spectral figures, now at peace, faded away, their stories heard, and their roles as guardians passed on to the living. Julia, however, remained. Her connection to the entity in the forest had changed her, binding her to the land in a way that made it impossible for her to leave. Derek and the townsfolk returned to Maplewood with a new understanding of the whispers and the disappearances. They became protectors of the forest, ensuring that its secrets and its sanctity were preserved. As for the cottage, it became a place of research and learning, a bridge between the town and the mysteries of the forest. The story of Derek's confrontation with the whispers of Maplewood spread far and wide, transforming the town from a place of mystery and fear to one of wonder and guardianship. And Julia, the writer who had sought to uncover the darkness, found herself a part of the light that protected Maplewood and its ancient, whispering woods. Thank you for listening. Join us tomorrow at 9 a.m. EST for a new untold story. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more artificial apparitions.